Okay, last section we talked about SDLC. Can someone tell me what SDL is? SDLC was last discussion we had before the break.
SDLC is Software Development Lifecycle.
And then it has different phases. What are those phases? Anyone? Can someone tell me of those phases it has?
We have the defining phase, the planning, defining, designing, building, testing, and deployment.
Testing and deployment. And we have different models. One of those models of SDLC that you know, any kind of classical models. It depends on what your company is and bank want to carry on.
Let me just mention the waterfall model.
Waterfall model, anyone?
And the V model.
The what?
The V model.
The V model is one of them. Yes, you guys are. And anyone else again? Okay, there are different models of SDLC are discussed. Please try to go back to the videos, and it depends on which kind of model your company wants to embark on. There are different models of SDLC. So we talk about how those SDLCs being implemented, those models are being implemented, and there are classical ways of them, and then which are able to analyze and tell you how it's being done, and also give you some idea of how agile is being run in industries. Want to share. Okay, before we continue today, I hope you guys can hear me clearly. You can see the screen. And before we continue today's class, I want to elaborate more on this topic, more of these terminologies, what we call what is bug, what is defect, what is error. These are one of those terminologies you need to get understand with. What are these bugs? What are these defects? And how to treat these bugs in your as a tester. Okay. So can someone tell you what is error for instance, before we go into today's topic? What is error? I want to clarify this on this. What is bug? What is this bug is? What is bug? Or let me say, what is error first? What is error? Can someone tell me what is error?
I would say a mistake.
Mistake. Okay. Anyone else? What's the error? Where is this error?
I mean, I would say something that's in a place it's not supposed to be at.
Okay. So before we go into this, I want to clarify you what these technologies is. Bug, defect, error. This is what you hear in every day when you start working. Okay. So error, we do error in our day-to-day life. Okay. So error is a mistake in coding done by developer. Okay. Basically, that is a software error. Any mistake or a developer makes while creating a software is called error. Suppose I have a text box, something like, let me say, like, it's also have something like a text box. So it's have something like a text box. It's a text box, okay? Where you have to type in your username and password. Maybe this is a username, okay, and this is a password, okay? So this text box supposed to accept 50 characters, like 50 characters here. But by default, when I was creating it as a developer, it has, as it's also associated developer as a text box that will accept, this text box also accepts 50 characters. But by default, when I was creating it, I developed it as a text box that will accept 10 characters instead of 50. Instead of 50, I make it to be 10. Okay? So that is an error. Or it's supposed to, or let me say this text box supposed to be developed as a text box, but I make it to be a numeric. You understand what I mean by numeric, right? I make it to be instead of alphanumeric or alphabetical numbers. This text also accept text. It's supposed to be accept alphabet number, but I make it to be numeric box. So that will be an error from the developer. So that's error can come from different ways. Okay, also be a text box supposed to accept 10, 50 characters, but I make it to 10 characters. When the user go into this text box to sign his username and password, but he create an account or his password should be have like 10 characters or 15 characters. But this text box was developed to accept only 10 characters in this text box. So that's an error. Okay, so that's what error is. So what is bug? Can someone tell what is a bug? What is bug? What is bug? Bug is something which testers identify due to error in a code. Bug is something which testers keep talking about. Okay, the whole agenda of you being a software tester, be a software engineer, be a software QA tester is about identifying bugs. Bugs is a building block for any software tester. Being automation engineer, being you right now studying as a manual engineer, database tester, testing engineer, or whatever. Bug is the most important thing. If you are testing something, you must find the bug. Otherwise, you're not a good tester. So what causes this bug? What causes this bug? For what we are just discussed right now, what causes this bug? What is the reason behind it? You can meet yourself.
It might be as a mistake from the coding.
Yes. So the reason behind bug is error. Okay, the error which developer team is developing team, you know, they are kind of development team also. As we also have a testing team, we also have developing team for developers. Okay, so the reason behind bug is error. The error which developers, development team is making due to this, there is a bug in the system. So bug can be in a system because of wrong requirements. I told you last section that when I talk about different type of software testing, we talk about different models of SDLC, which V model is there. We talk about the waterfall model, incremental model, and the spiral model, all these models, okay? You can see that they have in any software development life cycle, there is requirement gathering, okay? Right? You remember? For those that watch the video back again. So you can see that there are requirement gathering in any phase. I think the first phase is requirement gathering of it, those particular documents, application. So this bug can be in the system because of wrong requirement gathering. If the business team gathered a wrong requirement, that can also be a bug in the system. Okay, they're supposed to, in the requirement gathering, they want to put in Bank of America. They said instead of Bank of America, they put it as a Bank of America. So that is bug. So the development team will start developing it as what? As Bank of America, because they didn't catch that wrong spelling. So wrong spellings can also lead to bad development. And it causes a bug in the system. After you guys are start developing the application, you start you develop a Bank of America. So requirement gathering, wrong spelling, wrong requirement gathering. If the business team gathered a wrong requirement, that can also give you a bug in the system. So what is defect? Defect is variation from the requirement. When you are giving a software to the client, they will say this software has a defect. Like let's take a mobile phone, for instance. If you say your mobile phone has a defect, what does that mean?
It malfunctions.
It's
Malfunctions, defect like audio not working well. So it's a defect. So, but in all, there's something more we will discuss at the end of this class, if time permits, but you can stay to next session. What is error? Okay, there's what we're going to discuss more, but I'll let you know that. So, what is error? I want to take note of this. What is error? What is bug? These are important interview questions. Okay, you need to get acclimatized with these words. It all depends on the scenario. Where is it coming from? Okay, to a developer is an error. When he made a mistake, he made an error in the code, is an error. Now, if the developer does not add that error in his own end, and it goes to you, the software tester, QA analyst, it becomes a bug to you. It tends to be a bug. Then you, the software tester, QA analyst, did not catch that particular bug to you, which is a bug. It didn't catch that bug. Then it leaves your own end and goes to the what? To the client. The client tends it to be what? A defect. So all these things depends on the what? The scenario. All right? Developer. Tester, you guys here. The end user, the client. Okay? To him, I didn't catch it. It turns to be an error. Are you the developer, the tester, you didn't catch it, to you, it turns to be what? Bug. You didn't catch that your own end, it leaves your own domain, okay? It leaves your own domain, then goes to the client, the end users, people that are using the phone or using their applications. It turns towards to be a defect. All right? So it all depends on which scenario it happens. Any question? Any question, guys?
I have a question.
Right.
Let's say in this scenario, you have you work in a science department, and in this science department, they are required to use an eye, like an eye entrance, like for you to go inside the lab, you are required to use an eye. So, what if in a situation whereby this software was developed in such a way that was a kind of, what will you say in this scenario whereby the people who are supposed to enter into this premises, into this place, maybe they are only 3 people are required to enter. So, and it happens that another, a visitor visited, and the person kind of put his eyes into the place, and the door was able to open. So what will you categorize this as? Is it an error, fault, defect, or bug that made this visitor to be able to enter into the premises?
Because the software is developed for anyone not to enter into premises, or a visitor to
Yes,
enter that
only for 3 people to enter.
Odds when they are gathering that requirement, he said 3 people should not to enter. The software is developed for only 3 people not to accommodate 3 people, right? Or not
Yes,
to
yes.
alert a visitor. So that's to you who tested it now, because it left your domain now. So to that particular person that used it, because it's not in the environment right now, production environment. So it's not a defect because they're using the use case. Okay, is being done right here. But just give me a few minutes. All your doubts will be clear to you, because this is your own domain. This is your own what you need to know. That's why this particular topic is very, very important. So that scenario is going to be a defect. Okay.
Okay.
So anyone? Not much time. Okay. That brought us to what we have for today. Before today's class, I want you to know that what we did in last section, we talked about SDLC, right? We talked about SDLC, and it has so many effects of SDLC. Okay. In last discussion, we talked about SDLC, software development life cycle, right? So I want to clarify it today. Don't get it twisted. Don't get it twisted. What you have on your screen right here is STLC. Okay, so software testing life cycle you are seeing your screen right now has nothing to do with other SDLC and with its models. Okay, it's a different thing altogether. Software testing life cycle has nothing to do with other SDLC model. Similarly, software testing life cycle is what you guys have to do, is what tester will do, irrespective of model they will employ, be it the waterfall model, incremental model, be it V model, also the spiral model. You can know that there are certain actions which you have to do as a testing team. Okay, so this group of all steps is what we call software testing life cycle. I repeat, software testing life cycle has nothing to do with SDLC and its models. Okay, all those irrespective, software testing lifecycle is what testers will do, irrespective of model they employed. If you are doing incremental model, or a company is embarking of Vim, waterfall model, spiral model, any kind of model they want to embark on. So there are certain actions which you have to do as a testing team. And this group of actions is what we call software testing lifecycle. Software testing lifecycle is independent. I repeat, software testing lifecycle is independent of software development lifecycle. In software development lifecycle, testing is one of its phase. Remember, testing is one of the phase. Can someone give me quick lowdown, quick phase of SDLC? What do we have in SDLC? Just to bring your mind back to what we did in last lecture. Can someone give me what is in SDLC? What do you have in SDLC?
We have planning,
We have planning,
defining,
then we have defining,
designing,
designing,
building,
building,
testing,
testing,
and deployment.
deployment by the work DevOps engineers and production managers and all of them like that. So testing is one of its phase. In software development lifecycle, testing is one of its phase. Irrespective of any model your company wants to embark on. Because most of these governmental model, most of them embark in waterfall model. You can see in waterfall model, you can see testing is one of its phase. Requirement gathering, we have implementation, we have testing, then building, and whatever phase that, and then you have a maintenance. You can see testing is also one of its phase. So irrespective of any model your organization wants to embark on by your test architecture, they want to go on Vim model, they want to go on Spiral model, testing is one of its phase. So it's a carved, it's a phase on it that you guys have to then do your own testing of that particular application thoroughly. So testing is one of the phase. So now we are going to discuss that phase in details. So all we are going to discuss now on, we come from what? STLC, software testing lifecycle. We discussed about requirement analysis, right? When we are talking about SDLC, right? You see requirement analysis, you don't have requirement gathering, then you go to the implementation, or go to planning, go to implementation, then testing, then execution, and all those stuff like that. So that requirement analysis was different in that SDLC. That requirement analysis was different. That requirement analysis was for the software. That was done by the business people. This SDLC, remember I told you that the business people, the BA, they bring business to the tech people working on development, is what I discussed in last demo class. So that particular requirement analysis is done by what? The business people. So the one on this STLC, your own phase now, the phase of your own testing phase is a circle of its own. You carved it out from that particular business side. You brought it to your own testing phase now. So the one on STLC is done by the test lead, the test manager. The test lead, the test manager. Okay? the test manager. They will do the requirement analysis from the perspective of what? Of testing. You have a test lead in your team, right? They do this testing on the perspective, they do this analysis, requirement analysis from the perspective of testing. Now, then comes test planning. After bringing the requirement analysis, what they have to test, basically, what kind of application is under test. And there's one term which you know as, in the industry, we know as what? AUT. AUT. Okay? You have to do basically what kind of application is going to be under test. Okay? That is the AUT application. This AUT stands for what? Application under test. So go to do what kind of analysis they want to, what the application is under test. Okay. So in test planning, in this test planning, your test lead will decide what kind of testing is going to happen. If you're going to do database testing is required, DB is required or not. How much automation is possible for the application. And if you are doing automation, which tool to use? I told you in last slide, which of those tools that is used for automation is more popular? Can someone tell me, remember? Popular automation tool that's popular in the market. What are those automation tools that I told you about in last section? I told you automation is one of the, Selenium is an automation tool that is used, as very popular in the market. I told you it has different language bindings. Okay, so your test lead we decide what kind of testing is going to happen, if database testing is required in this application or not, how much automation is possible for this application. And if we are doing automation, which tool to use? Selenium. Selenium is an automation tool. Okay, it's one of the automation tools for testing, but at the same time, it's very popular. Tool is very popular in the market. The automation tool, and also is very popular in the market. Okay, this application, we're going to use Selenium as automation tool. We have different ones though, but Selenium is very popular. So this who decide is the test lead, the test manager. All right. So your test lead will have a POC, what they call POC. After everything, you have what they call the POC. POC is what? Proof of concept. I want you guys to later on can go and watch the video, because for your interview, once you have all this plain knowledge of how it's being done, you can be able to justify your 7 years or 8 years of experience, because you say it as it happens in the industry. Can you tell me what is test plan, how it's been done in your industry? If you explain just like this, you have a very good performance in your interview panel. So that's what I'm trying to break it down as it's done in the industry. Your test lead, your test manager, all these terminologies, you just voice it out in your application, in your interview panel. It gives a very good remark on your interview panel. So I resume, I said your test lead will have what they call the POC. POC is a proof of concept. is going to say yes. That we are going to do automation for this application. That's 50% of this web application, 50% of the application is going to cover automation. And the tool we are going to use is going to be Selenium. Is it going to be Selenium with Java? I told you in last demo section, I told you that Selenium is a language barrier. You can use Selenium with Java. You don't need to know Python before you can use Selenium. If you're a Python developer, you can also operate with Selenium to automate your tool. If you're a Java developer, you know Java, you're able to use Selenium. So Selenium, we automate with Selenium. It's going to be Selenium with Java, Selenium with Python, Selenium with C#. These are all high-level languages, all right? For those that are doing Java, understand what I mean? So that's what your test lead is going to conclude, decide, okay, on this planning phase. After you guys are doing the requirement analysis of it, okay, requirement analysis, your own test team, you are analyzing that particular application. They are planning for it, your text planning. 50% of this application will cover automation. The two we're going to use going to be Selenium with Java, binding with Java. Sometimes you have a call for your interview calls from your different vendors. They ask what application have you developed, what application have you worked on. You say you work with Selenium. They need people that know Selenium for this JD, for the job description. You see the JD is Selenium binding with Java, or what application, what language binding are you using? You say with Java. Do you know Python? You say no, you don't know Python, but with Java, you are confident with Java. Okay, that's fine. Okay, so Selenium is those two. So why those recruiters are asking those questions? Because of what is in that JD. Okay, what the test lead, your test manager lay down for it to get you into the team. So all these things happen during what?
Test planning.
In the planning phase. This is your own thing. This is not SDLC. I repeat. You guys are doing this. As I said, you guys have to be listening very attentive because this is your own job description. This is your own phase. SDLC is for business people. But because you are a test analyst or a QA analyst, you have to be there in the meeting. After all this, you guys have to bring it out and start analyzing it and start testing it, planning for it. Okay, so this is your own life cycle. This is your own phase. Okay. So whenever you have to test any application, you have to do the analysis of it from the testing point of view. For instance, I have to test the e-commerce application or the banking application. What kind of requirements are there from the client? So testing team also does analysis of it. Okay, any question, guys? And you should know that requirement analysis also happen from the development team also. Requirement analysis happen in the QA team also, and also the business team. All this requirement analysis is different. That's why I want to get it clarified. But the requirement analysis done in the SDLC was done by the business analyst or the client. Now, the testing team, we analyze the requirements, what kind of application, what is application under test. So it's a phase, gradual phase, not the SDLC. This is SDLC. This is your own job description. Okay? AUT, application under test. All right? So then, after then, you guys move to what? The other phase we have there is test case development. What is test case? Anyone had anything about that? What do you understand by test case? I will make it clarify to you as we go, maybe in the next section, but I just want to run down from all these things so you quickly get it. So after requirement analysis, you do the test planning of it. Then the next phase, you guys go do your team. You're going to do what they call test case development. So what is test case? Test case is a set of action that what you will do to test any application. What are the steps? You start developing test cases for it. I'm going to show you how you're going to do your right of test cases, test case development, okay? How to write any test case for any application. User able to log in with alphanumeric numbers. You test it. You are doing some negative testing, positive testing. You're going to do kind of sanity testing. All these things will get clear to you as you continue. Okay, so then you start developing what they call test case for that particular application. How user is able to log into application. User should be logging with alphanumeric numbers. User should be logging with alphanumeric number and some characters. You test for that application, how that application is going to behave when you log into that particular application. So you start doing this kind of negative testing. So you start developing test case for that particular application. So you have writing your scripts, your test scripts for that particular application. User should log in with user alphanumeric number, alphabetical numbers, numeric numbers, okay, characters, underscores, all those things. You start testing those applications. You start developing test case. That's what you call me. That's what you call test case development. All right. Then the other one is called test environment, environmental setup. The fourth phase, environmental setup. In last demo class, I told you have different environments where testing happens. We have different environments where testing happens. Where I told you that who are those people that deploy these particular applications? The DevOps guys, the production managers, everything you see on your website, they are all in what? They are all in production server. They're all in production server. So environmental setup, you start what? Setting up those environments where you test your application, where you execute your test cases that you already created. The script are really, you start creating those applications, those text case. All right. So environmental setup, there are different environments where testing happens. We have what they call, we have testing environments, okay, or we call it testing server. There's one you call UAT server. You all guys go and understand all these things. So this is this testing server where we do most testing. The UAT means user accepting testing. You remember when I was talking about the V model? Last space here. Yeah, if you really guys also go back to the videos, you know what. So all this in our testing server, in my own organization, after everything has been done, we have a team. They call UAT team. They do the last phase. Not all applications that are QA pass or QC pass, they still have to do it before they hand over to the client, the customer. So that server, they call it UAT server, user acceptance testing. And this team, I think they have business people are there in that particular team. So that's why when I was showing you the V model, I'll show you that it interlink. You can see that we have BLD documentation, we have a SRS, So all this is now, they always go back to your notes. All right. So that UAT server is where user acceptance testing happens. User acceptance testing, you will do all these tasks for the testing. All you guys going to do all these tasks. Okay. So that is the environmental setup. Then the fifth phase is now the test execution. After you execute you can see that here, no matter your script you are writing in test case development, how you wrote alphanumeric numbers, user able to enter with underscore characters, and all, you are kind of do some negative testing. After you will execute your test case, you have to then execute those test cases in this fifth phase of testing. Here, no matter test case you created in this phase for that application, that you will then start executing that particular test. Then come the test closure. Here we provide the closure of the testing observations. These are those hints of what happens in STLC. This is your job description. Though you're going to be in a business meeting, you're going to be in that phase of SDLC, what testing is seen in the only phase of SDLC. So job description.
Hello, Mr. Stanley.
Yes.
So you made mention of the POC, proof of concept, right?
Yeah, your test manager get the proof of concept before he starts. You guys start developing things.
So when you said that applies to the requirement analysis, though, do you have to get it first before y'all start testing plan?
No, it is test planning. On the testing phase here. This requirement analysis, you can analyze you're just getting a blueprint, as in, you know what I mean? Like you analyze all these things, checking all these things. These are for testers. They do analysis of that particular application. That requirement analysis is done by that for SDS is done by business people. But who does all these things? Your test manager, your test lead, you do an analysis of it in the base of the perspective of testing. Then that POC you're talking about is for the test planning. What is on application on that test? What are we actually testing? From this, what you gathered from. Then he gets a POC at this phase. Everyone goes to his bench, goes to his own offices and start writing test cases for that particular application on that test. You have to know, are you testing the e-commerce application? Are you testing the Facebook application? Are you testing the banking application? So what is application on that test? The kind of application I want to use for e-commerce is not going to be the same with that kind of banking application. Banking is different from e-commerce. Your Facebook, eBay, and your Amazon is different. So it gets a POC.
Right. All right. Right.
So these are the hints of what happens: requirement analysis phase and testing phase, test kit development, and the environmental setup, then test execution, test execution. These are your JD, your job description. You should know all these things as a tester. All right. So these are the hints. So now let's take all this in detail. So listen to me very carefully. Now, that requirement analysis, what happens there? Requirement analysis, system requirement specification from testing point of view. Analyzing the system requirement specification from the testing point of view. Preparation of RTM. That is what they call requirement traceability matrix. Anyone have idea have any what they mean by RTM, requirements traceability matrix?
Well, not RTM. I've heard of RCM. That's a risk and control matrix. I never heard of traceability matrix before.
Yeah, RTM. Okay, RTM here is what we call requirement traceability matrix. So RTM is getting which is what we're gonna read, guys. This RTM is we discuss about this after you guys know what about the test cases. I will tell you the idea of RTM, what RTM is. But what you need to know about RTM is that what is this RTM? Requirement traceability matrix. Is like what happens when a client gives you some of this information. Okay. So when client gives you the information, so basically business requirement documentation is created. If you remember when I talk about the V model, you can see the BLD, SRS, high level, low level, coding, then natural code, then unit testing, it's a phase. I told you that the SDLC. So this RTM is like when the business people gives you some of the information. So basically business requirements documentation is created, BLD is created. From there, testing team creates what they call test scenarios. Okay, they created test scenarios, and after test scenarios come test cases. It's kind of an hierarchy, but I don't want to you're gonna and I'm gonna break it down in the next discussion. But I just want to give a high level what that requirement traceability is all about. The requirement traceability matrix, when the business people gives you the documentation, BLD is created. Okay, from BLD, the testing people, you start creating what they call test scenarios. You guys are creating what they call test scenarios. Okay, from test scenarios, you start creating, after test scenario come test cases for that particular application. Remember I told you about breaking down all those. So it's just like an hierarchy. From they'll give you a document, from that document, you guys start creating test scenarios for it. So test scenarios are going to have different things you're going to test. Okay, a lot of things you're going to test. So breaking down those particular, that's why I said test case is a step-by-step action. Okay, step-by-step action to test that functionality. You want to test it. Okay, I'm testing it with alphanumeric numbers. Alphanumeric. I'm testing with numeric numbers. I'm just testing with characters, dollar symbol, underscore, at the rate, all those things. It's step by step how this application is going to behave. Okay, so the templates, which gives me all these things, like what are the business requirements, what are the test scenarios for it, what are the test cases for it. This is known as what? Requirement traceability matrix. And you are not going to end it. You're not going to end it here. You start creating your requirement traceability at every phase. Okay? At every phase of SDLC. You are not going to complete the requirement traceability matrix. You will only start creating requirement traceability matrix. So this requirement traceability matrix is there in each phase of, or each steps and each phase of SDLC. The requirement traceability matrix, which we call the RTM, will get completed in the what? the test closure, the last phase of SDLC, the test closure. You will start creating your RTM in requirement analysis phase for testing. You will not end it. Okay, so is the what? The template that gives you of everything, the BLD documentation, the SRS, the test cases for it. These are what we call requirement traceability. I'm going to tell you, I'm going to have a subclass for that, a map class for requirement traceability, the matrix, how to create test scenarios, how to create test cases in the next section. I just want to give a high level. And these are one of those interview questions just briefly asked, what is RTM? Who create RTM? You don't create RTM. You're not a test lead. I help my test lead side by side in creating requirement traceability matrix. Okay? Don't tell them you create requirement traceability. You're not a test lead of your team. You're a test manager. Have you ever created RTM? He said no. But I work side by side with my test lead, my test manager in creating requirement traceability matrix. These are for those that are not much about testing. Your test manager, okay? Create requirement traceability. But how to create requirement traceability, we'll do that in our next section. So the other point is identifying the testing techniques and testing types. We are still on this phase, requirement analysis. We are breaking them step by step. All right. So identifying the testing techniques and testing types. Identifying is important word there here. Okay. Identify is important word here. I'm going to identify what testing techniques have to be done for this particular application on that test. Am I going to test the e-commerce application? Am I going to test am I testing the banking application? So I'm trying to identify the testing techniques and testing types. What kind of testing am I going to do? Because the kind of testing I'm going to do on banking application is different from that of e-commerce application. So that's why I say identify is the word here. I'm going to identify what testing techniques has to be done for this particular application on that test. What testing types I can do, like the manual testing. Are you starting from manual testing, be a manual QA analyst? Okay. Automation engineers, the automation testing, database, data science, this database testing. All these things we start analyzing in requirement analysis phase. Okay, so you can see deliverables, outcome, okay? These are what we had. Text plan, architecture, testing types. Text plan, in text plan, you need to plan. In this text plan, you need to plan. After all these things we did now, these are what we got, deliverables. So the test plan is being had. We have our text plan in hand now. We are moving in to plan it. Text plan, architecture, testing types. Okay, after analyzing all these things. So what is text planning? A text plan, you need to plan how many resources you required. How many resources you require to complete this testing? Like 6 people will do manual testing, while 4 people will do Selenium automation testing. You are using your resource. What resource am I going to embed in this testing? Okay, like I'm planning, okay, my deliverables is text plan. My text plan is being delivered. So a text plan, how many resources is going to, I need to plan how many resources you require to complete this testing. 6 people will do, like you guys are starting being a manual tester, Q analyst. So 60 people will do manual testing. They are testing manually. There are 4 people is going to do automation, going to automate that particular application. Okay, so all these things you're going to put it in your test plan. You're going to do automation with Selenium, okay? Just those stuff, Selenium automation, okay? So all this will fall into test planning for that application. You plan for it. How many resource? Then you decide, your testing will decide if like for that automation, like 80% will do automation, like the application, like 80% of this application, maybe your Chase Bank or Bank of America or Facebook application, 80% of that of the application will cover automation. And again, you look at it, what kind of architecture we need, what kind of architecture I will be using for this testing. Am I going to use Selenium with Python or Selenium with Java? Okay, because most of our application is developed with any particular language, whether it's Python or with Java. So that comes under what? Architecture. So in manual testing, what kind of testing I'm going to do? Am I going to do API testing, functional testing, or database testing? Also, as I told you, when we started our demo class, I told you about the manual testing. You will do our curriculum, we'll do API testing, we'll do database testing, all this kind of testing to be start up with your manual testing. So automation, moving to automation, you need to learn some of these languages. As I told you in demo class, you need to know Java, not deep Java as a developer, but basic Java. Okay, so you're going to automate this Selenium as a automation tool. So that's fall under this word architecture. Okay, what architectural design mode you use? I'm going to use Selenium with Python or Selenium with Java. Then for manual testing, for 6 people that are doing manual testing, what types of testing am I going to do? Are they going to do the API testing, functional testing, that's the UI based, in the face-to-face interaction, and the database testing also. These are all the things that are part of what your test plan. You have to create the complete test plan for that application. So automation visibility report, if applicable. This is if you are doing automation, then you tell about the visibility of the automation, how much coverage will be there. Okay. Any question? This is your own profile. I want you to get it, understand it very, very well.
Mr. Stanley,
Yes.
I just wanted to, you probably said this before, but I didn't understand. So you said this STLC is way different from SDLC. So it's like the STLC is what manual testers needs to know, right? Like the process that they undergo before they start testing. Right?
Yes, be a manual tester or QA, just your QA or automation engineer or QA analyst.
Right.
Are you talking about STLC or SDLC?
STLC, so the one we're talking about now.
Or do you want to talk about, this is your own profile right now. Okay, this is this is very, very important. This is your own job, okay,
Right.
as a tester. Because in that SDLC, okay, the D is for the business people, okay? But though you'll be there in that meeting.
Right.
Okay, and you can see that in SDLC, it has different phases. And you can see testing is one of those phases. So after the business people have done their own analysis, do planning, do all those things, which you read there, but now you have your own life cycle, which is that in that phase, this is is in every phase of SDLC, every phase of in each model your company is embarking. Like most government organization, like Bello, Ospiro, healthcare.gov, all those, they always do it waterfall. The reason though, I don't know why. It's kind of lengthy project, government organization just like that. The 408 code or whatever they do. They do waterfall. I can see in waterfall, testing is also in one of those phases. So now, as a tester, as a test manager, they have that out from that every phase of SDLC. And they have ST, T for Tango, STLC, your own phase. Now, you people have to do the analysis of it in the perspective of testing. What is application on that test? What are we actually testing? How are we going to do it? Okay, so this is your own phase. Then
Right.
you do the planning of it. You do how many resources, how many people are embarking on this particular project, how many people is going on vacation, how many people will do, how many automation engineers we have. And you guys are manual testers. You're not about manual testing. No automation impacts in here right now. No technical know-how right now. Manual testing, analyze it, QA analyst. Okay,
Right.
so 6 people is going to do manual testing. Why people that have already migrated themselves to be an automation engineer, they do automation because they know basis of Java, they know core Java. Because most applications, talk about the architectural design of this application, is a design with what? With Java, some with Python. And we're going to automate with Selenium. Selenium is an automation tool. If you go back to a demo class, I told you about how Selenium works. You're going to know minor impacts. You just do automation of it. But as before you go and get this to understand, your doubt will clarify to you. But what I want to understand in high level is that STLC is your own profile. This is you. And this is what they ask you most in interviews.
Right.
All those things, how it's been done in your industry. If you say all these things, you know all these things, you can justify your 8 years, 7 years of experience in industry. Because you know most of these technologies, how it's been done. This is just how it's been done. I was trying to break it down to you in deep so you understand how it's been done. And those technologies you use and how you say it in your interview panel. Talk about your POC, talk about your AUT, application under test, the server, where you test all these things, what you did in 18.
Right.
We have a lot to discuss though, but let's just take it. So these are what happens in your requirements analysis phase. Then the other phase is what we call the text planning. After analyzing all these things, then we move to the test plan. You can see in text, you say that deliverables, what is the outcome of this of this requirement analysis? Test plan is being delivered. We have a text plan on hand. Okay, how many people are going to do this testing? 6 people, manual, automation, 4 people, architecture, what kind of architecture for the testing? Is it going to be Selenium with Java or Selenium with what? With Python. So we then dive into the next phase, which is the test planning. In detail, text planning. What are those text planning? So there comes the text planning. Okay, so you have decided the tool, right? You have decided the tool and you have decided how many resources you are going to use. Okay, you see, preparation of test plan, strategy document for various types of testing, test to selection, test effort estimation. All right, so considering the test effort estimation, like this test effort estimation is like, I have 6 people Now I have decided the tool, and I have decided how many people are going to do this kind of, how many resources I'm going to use. So in this test planning, we're going to do kind of effort estimates. Like I have 10 members in my team. This 6 plus, so I have 10 people, all right, in my team. The test lead decide all these things, the test manager. Like I have 10 members in my team. 6 are going to do manual for a manual. Why 4 we do what? Automation, right? So out of those 6 also, not everyone will have the same kind of experience. The person who has 6 years of experience can do more work than the person with 1 year of experience. Am I wrong or right?
You're right.
Right, okay. Now, in the team, also, there are various types of resource that you have. So you will be doing effort estimate for them. This one cannot do this much work. So you have to do a lot of effort estimate for in your team as a test lead. That's what test lead be doing. Okay, resource planning and determine roles and responsibilities. You'll be doing a lot of planning, and you will determine roles and responsibility and who is going to test what module. Like you, Mike, you're going to test login page. You, Abraham, you're going to test signing. For instance, if it's a banking application, you are going to test the corporate customers. For corporate customers, Mike, you'll be looking onto loans, new bank account opening. All these things comes under what? Resource planning. Training requirements is also there in your text planning. Suppose my manager tells me you need to run a test for the corporate customer. You have to test the loans in the banking application. And I don't have any knowledge about this loan section. Or I don't have any idea. I just say newbies, okay, into the loans section of that application to check the application on that test. So what's your test manager, your test lead going to do? He will organize what? A training for you through someone, from someone who knows about the module, okay? So training requirement is done at this text planning level. You can see after the text planning level, you can see what we had in our outcome. So deliverables here means what this particular step, all right? What this particular step we had after everything. That's what I mean by deliverables. So what do we have in our deliverables? We have a what? Our test plan, strategy documentation, we have effort estimation documents, how many people are going to embark on all these things, we have it. So you can see that in this slide I showed to you, you can see that on requirements analysis phase, we have text plan, right?
Mm-hmm.
And in text planning, we also have test plan. So you can see that there are few things which goes on more than one cycle as well. You can see here we created text plan in the requirement analysis phase. In this text plan, I need automation. For automation, I need 4 resource people who are needed. That's I have my resource estimates are there in this particular test plan. So for automation, 4 resources are needed. So here in test plan, I will make that entry for those 4 resources. So you can see what I mean by deliverables means what this particular step we are doing, what will be the outcome of that. It is basically outcome of that particular steps. That's why I just want to let you understand what deliverables is. Okay. So after that comes what you can see here, we have our test case development. All right. So I give a hint in the beginning, but here I want to give you in full detail what that test case is. We have then comes test case development. In test case development, I told you the hint to start creating your test cases for it. All right, you start writing some script. How you write your script, alphanumeric numbers going to enter into the text box. Test case automation script is applicable. Review and baseline test case and scripts. You start creating test script for that particular application. So here we'll be doing test case development before the environmental setup. Before any testing comes to you, you have to create the test cases from the documents the business team is going to give you, which I mean by the BRD, the business requirement documents. Business requirement document. You start creating, when you see that your business requirement documentation, you will start creating your test cases for that particular application. You just have to try to log in. Our users are going to log into the particular application. They're going to use their alphanumeric numbers or alphabetical numbers or numeric numbers only, and also characters. You start doing this kind of permutation and combinations. And from there, you start writing your test cases and start scripting. In your test manager, your test manager will tell you your test. When you get into a job, your test lead or anyone that's ahead of you will tell you how to do, or will tell you how to do their own scripting in their own organization. Okay. So from there, you start from that business requirement documentation. Reading that, you will be creating your scripting. You should just create your test cases and your test scenarios and test data. I will tell you more about that in next if you follow me. Test data. All right. We discuss how to create that. All right. So here come test environmental setup. I gave you a hint.
So,
I told you.
Stanley,
Yes.
please, what is the difference between the baseline test cases and test cases / scripts? Is there any difference? Because you wrote review and baseline test cases and scripts, then another one.
That to be clarified to you as we continue though. Where is it? I said test case and test. Where is that?
You wrote test cases and review. You see bullet point 2, review and baseline test cases and scripts and deliverables.
Review and baseline test cases, yeah, and script. They're all the same, yeah.
Okay.
The baseline, what are you creating for the basis? And start scripting it. Scripting intends that you're logging your username and password and all those stuff like that. So review and baseline test cases and baseline is from the base, where it's coming from. Okay, you have to review it. After reviewing it, start scripting it, write your test cases. That's why I said from the documentation, from the document business team is going to give you the BRD, the business requirement documentation. Reading that, you will be creating your test cases, your scripting, and your test scenarios, and your test data. Okay, test data, I will tell you more about that when we continue. Okay, we try to stop it here. We'll continue next section. So you guys will have time to do what you want to do. You have a lot to do. You have a lot to discuss in this. So I want to take so I can break it down so you understand that right?
Okay.
All right, Mr. Stanley, I'm sorry to rush you. I just have a question. So do you have like the prepared QA automation questions for interview purpose?
Yes, I think I showed it to you. Yeah, I showed it to you in the demo class.
Oh, okay. I mean, I just wanted to know if you have it. I mean, if you have it, that's
Yeah, I
cool.
have it. Yes, I have it. So when you're ready to hit the market, when you've done your courses, you have all those interview questions and they are preparing. You can be having them while you are reading, as you're studying and writing your notes. The main baseline is that we are taking notes, you don't forget it. Okay?
Mhm.
Yeah.
Take notes. You take note, definitely you get the job. If you don't take notes, you may just easily know how the human nature is. We easily forget things when we don't really write it down. Okay.
Right.
Yeah, a couple of
Okay.
questions, Stanley. On the software which we need to use for the test cases, sorry, for the QA, for the manual, is there any particular um skill required that you can advise to you? Because now you talk about Selenium, talk about SQL, talk about Java, and talk about Selenium, what's it called? Yeah, SQL and
Yeah.
Java. So what are the combinations of both? And is there anyone we should just focus on, especially starting from manual QA?
As if you go back to what I told you in the demo class, I explained all those things to you in detail. For it to be a start QA, you need to know a bit of all these things. I explained that to you. So right now you start as a manual testing. Okay. So manual testing, you're a Q analyst, all right? I explained that to you. So you need to know this manual testing. And manual testing cover database. You need to know about database, which is SQL. All right. We're going to treat SQL in this section. Okay, after this manual testing now, we'll enter into SQL. After SQL, we do API testing using Postman. That's for basic, for you as a manual testing, so I can able to get into a job. So for you to be a Q automation engineer, then you need to know Java, Python, any other these high-level languages, programming languages. Because this application, the program architecture is being built with Java. So for you to test this application, you need to know Java. Because the developer develops it with a language, Java, I need to know Java so you can be able to test it into run or automate this application. But right now, you don't need a technical know-how of all this for you to know, for you to engage into this course or study as a manual tester. Right now, you're a manual tester. And the course curriculum is that we cover manual testing, then we cover database testing using SQL. You query the data because it's an hierarchy, okay? In the organization, they store the information in the server. Or every organization, be it a healthcare, military, school education, nursing home, everything is everything information, governmental organization, they start everything in the server. And is an hierarchy in the server, okay? In the server comes what? The database. Okay? In the database comes the record, right? A table, in form of a table, okay? In form of rows and record, okay? So you store all these things. In the server comes what? The database. In the database comes the what? The records. Records is inside the records. And the records is in form of tables. It's called from tables. Tables in form of rows and what? And columns. So you as a QA analyst, you should know about database testing. We have to query this data. The data understands a language which is called SQL, right? Use SQL to query this language. So I want to go into that, but you need to know database testing anyway. As a manual tester, we're going to do SQL after this.
Okay, thank you.
All right. I don't want to waste much of our time today. I want to end from next. We're going to start from this STLC, and the last one we're going to start is this test environmental setup. I told you you have to set up the environment, like you have 10 members in the team, understand the requirement architecture, which is the environmental setup, and the prepare hardware and the software requirements for the test environment. We have to set up the test environment and test data. Okay, so environment, there's a kind of environment that's testing happens. So in the next section, in next class, we're going to talk about that. Okay. So your test leads, the testing team will set up the environment. The testing people or they will kind of set up environment where you have to do your kind of your testing. Okay. So this example of environmental setup. Okay. This application you have to test, like your Google any application, your Chase Bank is an environment you have to test. That's the environment. That's what I just want to tell you about. So the testing people are going to set up the environment for you so you can do your testing. Okay, see what I mean by environmental setup. So I want to tell you that in next class what this environmental setup is. Okay, so just want to let you know that there are going to be environments where testing will happen. Okay, the environment is going to be, you're going to set up environment for you so you can do your testing. So I hope you get some things out of this as your testing team. So as you dive into more about testing, you're going to understand more about it. So in this session, we're going how to create test scenarios, to create a civil matrix, a test case, a test scenarios, all these things, and test station, we're going to end that. So we do more about testing. All right. Anyone have any question before we end this for today? I don't waste most of the time today.
Stanley.
Yeah.
This slide, did you share it with us, or you just, reading us from the slide?
I will send the slide to you. If you want me to send the slide, I will.
Oh, yes, that would be great. Thank you.
I'll send the slide.
Okay.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Stanley.
Thank you, man.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. I appreciate it.
Yeah, thank you so much, Stanley.
Yeah.
Appreciate that.
You have any question, please?
Thank you. Thank you so much.
All right.
Thank you so much, Stanley.
All right. Okay, do you have any question? Uche, you have any question? Uche, Monica?
Stanley.
Yes? Yemi?
No, I just
Frank?
said thank you.
Okay.
Yeah, I already asked you for the slide, and you said you're
Okay, I'll send to the platform.
Yes, no problem. Thank you.
Well, happy Mother's Day for the ladies in the house. Have a good one.
Thank you.
All right.
Thank you. Thank you. And don't forget our